Hello everyone, this is Explore Ogbomoso Media, and today we have the honor of speaking with a key figure in the educational development of Ogbomoso Zone 1, the Permanent Secretary and Inspector General of Education Inspectorate, in person of Reverend Dr. Dele Oyedokun. You're welcome, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. You're welcome, sir. So stay with us as we gain valuable insights from a leader at the forefront of educational growth in Ogbomoso. So, sir, let's go with the first question. Now, for people who don't fully understand your role, can you walk us through what the Office of Inspector General of Education does and what it means for schools and students in Ogbomoso?
Well, the office is just an upgrade of the Zone Education Office, which has been operating before 2022. Before the year 2022, we have 8 educational zones in Oyo State. But when the government of the day thought of uplifting the office to the status of the permanent secretary so that there will be more grassroots effects, impacts of education. So the office of the ZIE then, Zone Education, was upgraded to become a permanent secretary status, giving it more wider and more impactful effects on the rural. That means everything about education does not have to be concentrated only in Ibadan. So some of the responsibilities we're going to be taken in the zonal offices. So by virtue of this, a permanent secretary was proposed for the zones because it was the determination of the government to entrench more of its policies, more of its programs in the rural areas.
Okay, sir.
So in the regard of equality and competence and the management of the education at the zonal level, which we feel will bring more of the impact to the education.
Wow, thank you very much for that, sir. So when you visit schools across this zone, so what do you commonly find? Like, what are the pictures that paint for education of Ogbomoso today?
Well, visiting schools, there are a lot of things that has taken place in Ogbomoso more that were not there initially. Now, like we have more schools, we have improved on our facilities in the schools. Then there are a larger number of students who also going to school because of recent there were because of the policy of the state government, more of the students are coming back, more pupils who are hitherto gone out of the school are now coming back into the school. So you will find in our schools now that there are so many students. Facilities have been improved, even though we have not reached our goal. But the facilities is a continuous thing. Another thing is that nowadays we find that the level of truancy in some of our schools is not encouraging, and this has to be because of the parental influence. Many of these students we have in our schools today lack parental guidance. You see, if you lack so many things from home, you are going to be a serious deficient in the school system. So I think that gap is affecting our education advancing. So I think the parents must have to wake up. The homes must have to stand as the home. We will not believe if you apprehend about 10 students, 8 of them will have a very raw parental background, staying with grandma, single parenthood, and all the likes. And all these things has an adverse effect on their behavior and attitude in schools.
Thank you very much, sir. So I want to ask that what would you now say is the key strength of education system in Ogbomoso?
Well, our key strength is that right from time immemorial, the community as a whole has been taking education very serious. And that is a very good thing that we are leveraging on even up to today. Now, people used to refer to Ogbomoso as the education industry of Oyo State, because the industries that strive most in Ogbomoso is education. You will collect that in terms of basic foundation for education, we have it. In terms of the primary sector of education, we have it. In terms of the secondary sector of education, we have it. In terms of the higher institutions, we have it. And this has been the pipeline right from time immemorial. We will recall that it was the efforts of the community that started the first Institute of Education in Ogbomoso, called Ogbomoso People's Institute. Where the curriculum of education then was to train them to have the basic education, and the second, it was combined with vocational education. And along the line, you also recollect that before the advent of the tertiary education of Ogbomoso, the community took a very good and financial body to leverage the coming in of the Ladoke University of Technology, then as Oyo State University of Technology. The contribution of Ogbomoso community, both own and abroad, was a great factor in establishing the institution of Ogbomoso. So, in a nutshell, the community, people in Ogbomoso, has been taking a very good stand in terms of education.
Wow. So now, from your position, sir, so what conversation do you now think education stakeholders in Ogbomoso still need to be having?
I think there is need for us, all stakeholders in education, to have a broad focus on improving on the level we have. And we must all come together and ensure that that focus is we must synergize together. Now, one, we cannot say the facility on ground is adequate yet, but it needed the support of every sons and daughters and every stakeholders. I mean those who are professionals in education, whether employed by the government or not employed by the government, those who are investing in education, I mean the private sector, whether the primary school or secondary school, those who are establishing schools, even tertiary institutions, because we have private tertiary institutions of higher learning in Ogbomoso. And apart from that, there are some other philanthropists who we have, all of us who have to come together. Like the aftermath of the Education Summit, the possibility that we have over a year ago, the aftermath of it is that there are some salient points that's come out of it. And there is an inner circle now working on how those salient points, all those areas can be addressed. And on a more serious note, addressing those areas, because we appreciate the effort of His Imperial Majesty of Agandi Apolabi Olaoye, who has taken education as a priority in part of his 20-year development agenda. Now, we have students are being supported with writing materials and everything, but we are going to move ahead of that now. There are still some areas where it is difficult for students to get access to education. Like if you look at towards after Owode police station, going towards Ogbomoso, there are larger percentage of students there now there is no any public school apart from Ogbomoso Grammar School and many other road. From that place till you get to Yaoji, there is no any public secondary school there. So I think part of what we are working on is that how do we get a public secondary school so that students will have access to education. Similarly, in some other areas too, of present we have located and approved the secondary school for Kajola before Adafila. Because if you look at that area, you are going to school, you either have to go to Adafila or come back to Oloroda, and that's a kilometer of about 15 kilometers. At least it's more than 50 kilometers. So if you're in Kajola, you want to go to school, and those students, they will trek in the morning. So getting the school there is securing access to education in that locality.
Thank you very much, sir. So what does the future of education in Ogbomoso look like?
Oh, right.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
I'm not just saying it by mouth, because one thing with education is that if the foundation is not properly laid, there's nothing you want to build on it. Already, we have a solid foundation of basic primary education, both in the public and the private primary schools. We have a lot of them who are registered and are doing well, because part of our job is to ensure quality in education, and that's why we have various inspections that we carry out. One, we carry out facility inspection to ensure that the facility that are supposed to take care of the student are on guard before we ever give you an approval. And when you have an approval for a nursery school, we will still have to come back and see your facilities if you can upgrade to primary school. And similarly for secondary school too. So, and at any point in time, we can bump into any school to carry out focused inspection, whereby we will focus on a particular aspect of the quality assurance, that if it is as it is, because our daily work is to ensure that government policies on education are fully implemented at the zonal level. And God is helping us. We are moving on.
Wow. So, sir, now beyond government, sir, so what are the roles of parents, private institutions, and the community? Like, what are their roles? What role should they play in strengthening education?
Let me start from the parents. Parents must ensure that they take very good care of their children. We have situations whereby many of these students, they will leave home and not get to school. And there is no one at home even asking them, did you get to school today? What did you do today? We usually have a day called open day, where parents are supposed to come and check the welfare and what are doing in school. We discovered that larger percentage of students or parents don't come. But what we did last time was that we need to continue assessment schedule, that open day, if your parents come, you also hand marks.
Wow.
That was to encourage parents coming to their school, and the turnout for the last open day was encouraging. So if we can keep this on, it will improve and it will reduce truancy to a very drastic lower level. Now, another factor is that if parents go to school to check their works, they know what is happening in the school, they know the ability of their work, they know the teacher they can talk to. And peradventure, maybe he has some kind behavior at home that is not known in school. They will be able to rub mind with teachers so that they will synergize together and ensure that whatever they have on ground, they can both combine together and ensure that they have success in that. Now, on the part of the community, in the good old days, which is not happening again today, a parent in the community is usually a parent for home. But if you misbehave, they will discipline you. But now, it is not so. Some of the parents at home will see a student roaming about in the community and the street, and they will not do anything. So we want to encourage every community leaders. If you find any student roaming about, apprehend them, question them, what are they doing around, ensure that they go back to school. But if you leave them to be roaming about, small time, they will be building houses in your community. Because they don't have anything doing around your community while they're supposed to be in school. Then the private sector, some people are already enjoying the legacy of the government and they are well placed now. So we expect them to partner with the government, and that is highly encouraged, particularly with this current government in your state. There's a partnership with those philanthropists and also those who are also head of schools. We encourage them, come back to where you are trained. And also, in that way, I think the parents, the community, and the philanthropists call the whole students. If they can collaborate with those in government, we'll have a brighter future in our education.
Wow, thank you very much for that. Thank you so much for that. I really enjoyed the sections with you, sir. Thank you so much. And that's a wrap for Ogbomoso Media today. Huge thanks to our guest. Thank you very much for the amazing insight on education. So stay tuned and keep exploring. This is Ogbomoso Media. See you another time. Bye-bye.